All right, well that's it more or less. I've got all of my pieces done. One thing you might find with, especially these bigger guys, is you see how this one's a little bit loose and floppy. They bend and they flop all over the place. And this guy's not quite as bendy and floppy, a lot stiffer. So that happens with these bigger guys sometimes. This one here isn't too bad. I think I'll probably just leave it as it is. But you can definitely stiffen these guys up if it bugs you, leaving them all floppy like that. And the way that we're going to do that is, it's actually a pretty easy thing. We're just going to reinforce it. So what I want to do is I want to pick this guy up here. And I'm going to go through this. You see these two top beads right there. I'm going to go to the one that's kind of in between them and go through them. And actually I should have just sort of evened up my thread a little bit more. And then I'm going to go through the one on the left side. Might be a little bit tough to do because I've got so much thread in there. Might even need a different needle. We'll see what happens. There we go. And yes, I want to go through the next one. And in fact, I want to go through this whole line here. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. But I want to go through this whole line of beads. And I'm going to make sure I'm going to kind of make sure these two thread pieces are more or less even or equal. And I'm going to go down this one to the inside here. Try to. Might be a little bit tight in there as well, but that's okay. I'll make it go. And then I'll go down that same middle one on this side. There we go. Now I do want to make sure that these two thread ends are pretty much equal. That's important, or close to equal at least. And they seem to be, yeah, fairly equal-ish. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to go down sort of the center of this. So I'm gonna, you can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 beads, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the second one in from the inside is what I'm going to be doing the whole way down. Okay, so I'm going to come down there and go to the next row down, and it's always the second one to the inside. Okay, and then every once in a while I'm going to come up the one that's right beside it. So I'm coming out right there. I'm going to come up the one beside it, just like as if we were tying a knot, and then I'm going to go back down that same one. And what this is going to do is this reinforcement will just really stiffen up the leaf a whole lot more. And I don't go all the way to the bottom. I don't think that there's any need to. I'm just going to ensure that there's structural integrity along this kind of looser band, because at the bottom there's a lot more around. That fly's been bugging me all day, and somehow I just can't get rid of him. And it's just as simple as that, just making sure that it's always the second one in to the inside. And we're really kind of pulling fairly snug. And yeah, I'm gonna, on this one, I'll just go back up again. That next one there. And down in that one again. And then I'm just gonna keep on going back down. I won't spend too much time on this. I'll let you guys do this on your own. But this really is a good way to just stiffen these leaves up, making them a little bit more tight. so they're not quite so floppy. I think my other ones that I have, I'm not too bothered by those ones. I don't know that I really need to strengthen those much. I'll have a closer look and see how floppy they are, and if I need to strengthen the structure, I will do that. But it's yeah, it's an easy fix. The smaller ones, you could do that to them if you really felt like you wanted to make them a whole lot more with a lot more strength. Now you see I've gone through 2 beads at a time there, and you can certainly do that. Just do that with care, because sometimes you can break a bead. Sometimes I'll go through a couple of beads at a time, and that's great. Okay, so now when I come back up, I'm going to be on the second one in from the outside row. So I went down the one on the second one from the inside. Now I'm coming back up the second one from the outside. And that just really strengthens those 2 rows, and adds a lot of integrity to your piece here. Now on this one, I don't really bother worrying about like wrapping around, because I already did that on the way down. So I'm just simply going to come up all of these beads, and towards the top is where I will I'll start kind of doing my loop ties. So I'll finish this up with you, and then you can see the difference, and you'll notice it immediately. Just reinforcing it is a really good thing to do if that loose weave kind of bugs you. It's that season out here on the ranch. There's an awful lot of flies that are wanting to come in and find the warmth, and they're just in my face and in my hands and all over the place. Wouldn't mind so much, but if they would just stay out of my face, I'd be happier. Get off of me. See, they interrupt my beading. That's just not a good thing to do. All right, so from here, I don't need to definitely go right up to the top again. I'm just going to do a few loop ties on my way back up to the top, and then I'll show you the difference between the sides there. It makes a big difference, this reinforcing. I mean, reinforcing in all beadwork is a smart thing to do, actually. I really hope that was in camera. You're gonna hear me say that pretty much constantly, because I have to get used to this again. I have some really good ideas for the other Poco box. As I said earlier, you know, it's funny when I talk on camera, you know, for you it's literally seconds ago, and for me it's hours, and sometimes the day before, and I don't really remember what the crap I said. So so on my next box, I'm going to look at doing some raised beadwork. I think I said it, but I don't remember. All right, and I'm going to go one more up, and then that's it. Now I can just cut that string. And you'll really notice, like from one side, this one, you know, it's still a little bit flexible, but this one's like really loose. That side's got a little more structure. That one's really loose. So all I need to do now, you can see that one's super floppy. That one's less, but that one's very floppy. So they'll hold their structure a whole lot better if you do that. And so yeah, now all I need to do is get my needle on this side, do that same process down and back up, and then I'll be done. All right, I've decided I'm not super thrilled at how this looks, and I'll show you this part here later, but I don't like how that sits. I want it to be more curved, have more of a curve. So in order to do that, I am going to throw a piece of thread on. I'm going to do some looping here. So all I'm doing is I'm just adding some thread on. And I'm just going through my beads just to loop around to kind of make my ties to get my thread on. And this isn't a terribly difficult thing to do, but I just really felt like it's not as rounded as I want, and you know, as I think I've said before, I haven't done one of these leaves in years, probably like, sorry, I'm probably pulling that right off camera. So I haven't done one of these leaves in a really, really long time. So yeah, so there's a lot that I forget about how to do these. So anyway, I'm just kind of making sure that I can loop some of my thread on, and I'm making this way more thread heavy than I need to, but that's all right. So I'm gonna come up out of there. I'm gonna get rid of this little tail thread here. Because yeah, I don't love how it's sitting. I just don't love that. So what I'm gonna do is come out of that back one, and I'm gonna loop these guys together as best I can, and I think I might need to pick up a couple of beads to do that with. Get these guys out of the way. So we'll just try and see what happens with just at least 2 beads. And just see what that, we'll see what that does. What is that going to look like in the back there? And will it pull my leaf together enough? And yeah, I think it's going to. I think it's going to do that quite nicely. Give me a little bit of a double looped back here, but that's okay. I just am not happy with how that looks right now. So I'm going to tie it off by, again, looping around, making sure I don't lose my needle. And that's all I'm going to do is just add those guys on, make them super nice and tight. I may have to go down quite a way in order to make this work, because I think I'm so thread heavy in that area already from all of the goofy mistakes I've already made. Well, not mistakes, I guess, just trying to remember how this is all done. So not a mistake. It's a bird, not burb. Bird, as Bob Ross would say. So yeah, I think I'm gonna like that better. I think it'll just look a little bit neater and rounder, and it also tightens up that leaf a little bit better too. So kind of fun getting back into the swing of things here. Alrighty. And there we go. There we go. All right, I'm going to just leave it at that. So that's something for you to consider if you don't like how it sits. You see, I like this so much better. And it does tend to tighten it up a little bit even more. So I'm going to do that to this one. I'll probably do that to these pink ones as well. And the other ones, they're pretty small, so it doesn't make that much of a difference. But this one, I just didn't like that, how it's sitting. All right, so I'm going to continue on experimenting with how I want my my earrings to go, and I'll be back. So I have done one leaf off camera here, or one earring off camera here. And I'll show you how to do this, but if you don't want a whole lot of length, and you don't want all of these leaves, you can do just one leaf. And I'll show you how we can do that before I go on to do my other one. So all I'm doing is I'm going to take a jump ring, I'm going to open it up. This guy might be a little bit tight, but I should still be able to get through there, at least on one side. And these size 8s are great. If I can't get in there, it might be too tight, but it should be okay actually. Nope, I'm gonna have to do a different leaf. So I'll choose another one of these guys. So before you tighten them up, it might be a good idea actually to put this jump ring in first. There we go. And so all you need to do is just get that jump ring in through that size 8, and then you want to put this on, and then you can close up the jump ring. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to keep opening and closing my jump ring, but essentially that's kind of how it's done. If you close the jump ring off, you can see that you'd be able to make a single leaf earring out of it, much like the one that I showed at the very beginning. Okay, so what I'm going to do is build this guy. And what I did with this main stem here is I sort of measured out on here kind of how long I wanted it, and then I adjusted it according to where the leaves might fall on it, and everything was fairly random. What I did was I just put everything into a big pile here, and my threaded needle, I just scooped beads until I had the right amount, so it stayed really quite random. Now, these beads are actually different sizes, so off camera, this is my main stem here. Off camera, I'm going to just repeat this pattern here. And what I'll do is I'll start with a size 8 stop bead here. First, I'll show you how I do that. And then I will go off camera to copy this sequence. Normally I wouldn't even bother, but it's just because the beads are slightly different sizes that I kind of feel like I should do that. Otherwise my leaves might hang in different places and the length might be slightly different. So I just want to make sure that I match that up properly. Okay. I'm going to get my needle threaded and I will be back in a second and show you how I put that stop bead on. All right, so what I've done is I've taken a length of thread here, and I want it at minimum twice as long as this, which I've got way more than that. And I also want to be able to leave quite a long tail. Now, with these bigger beads, it's a little bit easier to do a stop bead, but what I find is that if I go through with my needle twice, it's a little bit harder to get it off at the end. So I'm just going to put it onto my thread, and I'm going to give myself a pretty lengthy tail. So, you know, oops, there we go. Kind of just over halfway on my beadboard. And what I do is I hold on to it. So this is the thread that has the needle attached, and then this is going to be my tail end. I'm going to give myself a bit more of a tail than that. So I like to go through backwards. So the tail is coming out this side. I pick up the tail and I go in from the top side back through that bead and pull. And then I'm going to do that one more time. I find if I do that with the needle at the end, especially with smaller beads, it is so hard to remove this guy because sometimes you have to actually pull the thread back through, and this thing doesn't really move that easily or flow that easily. So I like to do it with the loose end of the tail so that if I do come back and have to unwrap it, it's easier than if I do it from the needle side. That might not make a lot of sense because it might seem like, oh, well, you've wrapped it anyway. But sometimes these things overlap each other inside the bead, and it can make it really difficult. So anyway, that's just what I have found. So that's how I'm going to put my my bead on. And so I will come back once I've got all my beads on the main thing strung on. I'll see you back in a bit. Okay, I realized I forgot to tell you the extra beads that I was using in the stem here. So these I got a long time ago when Michaels was actually still doing beads, and these are a Toho 11O, and what is the number? Let me see if I can find the number on it. I think it's 101. Yeah, I haven't seen these around in a long time. And then I've also got these ones from Bead FX. Sorry, I'll tell you the name of this at least. This color is... Does it have a number? Or a name? I can't even see the name on it. That's kind of weird. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah, I don't even know what name it is. Anyway, it's a green. And then I've got this one from Bead FX. It's a Toho, and it's TB11R22F. It's a silver lined light gold frost. It looks white on my screen, but anyway, I'm using these two. So I don't need these guys anymore. Get rid of them out of my way. All right, and then I've also brought back my little 15 O's, and I forgot to give you the number of these actually. So it's a Miyuki 15O, MB15457L, and it's a metallic light bronze. My other one that I used, it was kind of cool. It had very few on the bottom, and it was just enough smack on to do all of my leaves, which was kind of sweet. Okay. So I'm at the very end here, and the one that I've got on the end of this one is a blue. And what I'm going to do is pick up 3 of those 15 O's. Sort of slide those down, and then I'm going to pick up my leaf, sort of my blue leaf, and I'm going to go through that, just the 8O. I'm not going to go through any of the beads on the either side of that. So just through the 8O. And I'm going to pull, and I'm going to pick up 2 more of these guys, these 15 O's, and I'm going to go through, I'm going to skip these 2 15s, and I'm going to go through this one, and I want to go up 10 beads, so after the 15, so 10 of the size 11, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so just coming out of that bead right there. Now you can do whatever pattern you want. I'm just kind of trying to match up the pattern that I have on my other leaf earring, because I don't want them to sit in different spots from each other. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is I'm going to just pull, and that's all set. So the next leaf I have in line is this kind of I can't remember the name of that color, but I think this is the rust color, they call it. It looks more like a raspberry to me than a rust, but all good. And so for this one, I want to do a green, 2 gold, green, gold, green. So green, 2 of these gold, and then a green, gold, and a green. And that's what I have on my needle. And then I'm going to pick up my 3 15s. I'll go through my size 8. And again, you may only have one. Okay, well, it looks like I'm back to filming on my camera. It seems my battery just died. So when my camera died, I picked up 3 of my 15s. I picked up my size 8, and then with my leaf on it, and now I'm going to pick up another 2 of these 15s. I'll skip that 15, and then I will come back to the main branch. I might be like super close up here, and sometimes that's not a lot of fun to have to look at, but all right, so I'm coming back towards the main branch, and I'm going to just pull in nice and tight here. And then, so when I came up to start this branch, I was coming out of that white one, so I'm going to go back into the green one that's above the white one. And I'll just count how many here that I need to go up from there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, because I'm coming out of, yeah. So just past this sort of group of 4 here, I'm coming out that first gold. So it really is that simple. I won't show you any more of this. I think you kind of got it all sort of figured out, and I will come back when I've got all my leaves on, and I'm going to attach my ear wire to that number 8. I will see you in a bit. Okay, I thought I'd kind of pop back in as I'm doing my last, about to put on my last leaf here. I was checking to see where I've come out. So I'm picking up a green, 2 gold, 2 green, 3 of my 15s, my last leaf. And you know, it doesn't really matter which way the leaf faces in terms of direction, because it's actually not, it's not too important, because these guys are going to spin around on here no matter what. So you can try and set them in the right direction, but I don't believe that it really makes that much of a difference. All right, and come back up this side stem, and we'll pull that leaf on, and then we'll go back up to the main stem and come right out underneath that size 8. Because for now, I'm going to just pull that size 8 right off. I don't need it on there at the moment. So I can pull it right off, and then what I want to do now is I want to tie a couple of knots here. Well, I'll tie 1 knot, but I'm going to go through my loop twice. Excuse me. There we are. And now the way that I did this is you can, excuse me, you can come back down and tie knots into the stem, but I kind of feel like they will slide out if I do that. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my kind of tail end out of the way, and I'm going to come through the size 8, and I'm going to go down all the way to where my bigger leaf is. Reduce my tail a little. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to come back, I'm going to follow my thread path all the way down to where my big leaf is coming out. This is a bit challenging because I'm pretty sure that we're way closer than what I normally would be doing. And that's okay. It's all right. Hopefully it's not so close you can't see, because I do know that that's also a challenge. If there's too close, it's not going to make it easy. And so I'm just going to follow my thread path back down again. And then back up. And I'm actually going to, oops. I should be able to get through these guys one more time, these little guys here. I usually can. Get through my size 8. Holy fiddly. Try not to get caught on it. And then I'll just come back up and make my way back up to the top. Get through these guys. This little size 15 here at the base has been gone through several times, but it seems like it's just fine. All right. So I'll make my way back up to the top of the stem. I would wait for my camera to charge up, but it's going to take a lot of hours for that to happen. And I have got such an incredibly busy day. I got to do soap. I have to make face cream and underarm deodorant and a whole bunch of other things that I need to do. So I'm in too much of a hurry to try and wait for my camera to decide to charge up for me. So apologize, but you know, it's the best I can actually do here. Life is a little bit busier for me than I need it to be at the moment, and that's just sort of the way it is. Okay, and so I went back through that size 8 bead one more time, and I take my needle off here, and I'm going to put the needle back onto my tail. There we go. And I'm going to bring my my tail thread through this size 8 one more time as well. I think it's a good idea to reinforce as much as possible because that really is going to be sort of the point of wear and tear, so to speak. Get through these. It's interesting, these size 11s are a little bit more challenging to get through multiple times than those 15s are. Just want to see where I'm at. Okay, so I'm coming out of that green bead. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to meet these two threads up at the bottom of that green bead. I'm going to tie the two of them together in a pretty tight knot. Make sure I'm in frame here. So all I want to do is I'm going to tie a knot, and I'm going to try and squeeze it right in between those two beads so you can't even see it. It won't be visible. And then I'll do one more knot. Put it in between those two beads. And then I'm going to pull the knot down into the beads a little bit more and find a good spot where I can actually put my needle in to do that. I might have to go to the other side. Oh, this is so fiddly. Holy. Okay, so down into that bead. If I can get there, I might not be able to. And if I can't, I'm just going to cut. Okay, I did it. So all I want to do is I want to pull that knot into the beads. You won't see it. You'll feel it popping in. All right. Now I can just cut my strings like that. Yeah, I still have to edit this video as well. I've actually got part 1 uploading to the to my YouTube site. All right, so now all I need to do is I need to just pop on my jump ring as well as my ear hook. And again, it really doesn't matter which is front or back because this is just on a single string. It's gonna like kind of do whatever it wants and spin around as it will. So now I want to close these. So you'll notice I'm going side to side with my jump rings rather than pulling it away, like pulling it out away from the other end. You'll never really get it back in line and you can weaken it. So it's better to kind of move it back and forth and just try to make sure it's really in a line. And then I take that sort of what I call the weakened part and I try to pop that into the bead. It'll probably come back out again anyway, but there we have it. There we have it. I'm going to take away my board and I'll just lay these guys right out and you can see the two lovely earrings. I love the color of autumn. I love all the colors. Here where I live in Alberta, we're like right at the Rockies and the foothills. And our autumn is incredibly short-lived. like incredibly short-lived. So it's what, October, I don't know, 14th, 15th or something like that. And, you know, quite a while ago, all of our leaves, they're already gone, all blown off already. So it's a very short-lived here, but I can experience it through my earrings. So there we go. That's a pretty simple project. And I'm really happy I managed to get this video out so quickly after my my unboxing. And I probably won't upload this until sometime next week, because I don't need to throw out a video every single day, so to speak. But yeah, I should be having a little bit more free time coming up, so I might be able to pop a few more of these on. And yeah, thanks for stopping by. Again, if you like the content here, please give me a thumbs up. And I always try my best to read the comments as often as I can and try to reply. So yeah, if you've got some comments to make, I'm always happy to hear them. I guess that's it. Okay, I will see you on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.